The Penguin, episode 7, now out. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the penultimate episode of the Penguin series is now out for you guys to go and check out. And has this episode set the stage for the finale? I don't think you could set it any better. There's so much that we got to get through in this episode, so let's get into it, because this episode gives us flashbacks to Oz's childhood and what really happened with his brothers. And it wasn't pleasant. Now, obviously, it starts off with him and his brothers. We see them, mucking around, doing all that stuff. Then they go out. They're walking around. This is where they get introduced to some gangsters. And they get some money off there. Jack, I believe, the oldest, gets the money off there. So then they go down to where the sewer is, where they have the actual drug thing going on in the present time. So they're down there, the kids, and they're playing flashlight, hide and go seek, basically. Anyway, so they have this rule where you stay within the station. You can't go outside of it. But obviously his younger brother and his older brother, they decide they're going to go into this little hole and go down the ladder, right? So they do that. Obviously knowing that Oz can't get down there because he has the bum leg. And in this, Oz is really frustrated because he's like, I can't come down there. And that, so out of frustration and anger, he closes the door and says, have fun getting out of there. And then walks away. Now, this is Oz, obviously, as a kid. Is there malice behind him doing that? I don't think he actually thought anything of it. It's one of those ones where you're, as a kid, you get frustrated with your brothers. Anyone that's had siblings would know sometimes you get really frustrated with them and you'll do something like that. Where it's like that. It's like you feel like it's a harmless thing where it's like, yeah, good luck getting out of that. And obviously you think nothing of it because you're like, oh yeah, they'll be able to get out of that. That's fine. But obviously it's raining at the time. And you could just tell straight away, you're like, oh, they're going to drown in there, aren't they? So Oz goes home and he tells his mum, oh, they've gone to the movies because they weren't supposed to be down there, obviously, in that. And so he's there with his mum and all that. Meanwhile, we see the door. They can't get in. They're banging on it. They're like, help, get us out, let us out, because they obviously can't get out. This is where we see the water start to run in there, and we hear it and that, and then we hear them get basically drowned. So now we know that Oz is technically responsible for killing his own siblings. Now, whether or not he thought that's what he wanted to do, or whether or not it was an accident, it's still up in the air, because it's very vague to how Oz feels, because we see him sitting there with his mum and it's almost like he's happy that there's no one else around to compete for his mother's attention. So I got sort of that vibe, but at the same time he's looking out the window, so it's automatically like he's expecting them to come through at any moment and be like really angry or something like that. So I don't know how he's feeling in that way and like that, or he just wanted his mother. So it's very interesting, but it's really good for the character, for Penguin. So we're starting to understand more about him. So you can make up your mind whether you think he did it on purpose or not. But then we get to the present stuff that's happening. So obviously we know Sophia has his mother. And there's this beautiful moment where Sophia is talking to his mother. And Oz's mother, man, she believes in Oz through and through. And that's that conversation of them two was absolutely fantastic. I'm just sitting there and I'm just enthralled in this conversation of, these two people playing mind games with each other. And how is that going to compete? And I really, really enjoyed that. Meanwhile, we have, obviously, Sal go and get Oz, beats him up. It was brutal watching that. And then it's like, you're going to take me to your drug operation. And I'm going to get that. So they go to the drug operation. Meanwhile, we have Dr. Rush come in and tell Sophia that her little niece has actually seen something and is willing to go to the police and talk to it. So this is already like, oh man, this could be a problem and that. So she goes and sees her. But this is what I love about this show, is they take a character like Sophia, who's been through a really, really rough time, thrown on the bus by her father, put into Arkham. She's come out now. She's been twisted and turned and like betrayed left, right, and center. So she's really kind of like just trying to get through. And now the one person that she does actually care about, she goes and sees the damage that is happening to this. And in a way, it's very resemblant to what happened to her where she was thrown under the bus. This is now happening to her niece because she is in this home here and she's cutting herself because she feels depressed. You know, she's seen the gas mask, so she's automatically thinking Sophia did it. You know, and Sophia's telling her, look, they were really bad people. They deserved it. So you have all these things, and you know, it's almost like watching a younger version of her in the reflection, seeing what happened to her. Could this happen to her niece? Could her niece go down a very similar path where there's just no return? I don't know. But that's what's making it so, you know, unique and awesome. Because then when she gets back, we have obviously Penguin and Sal. You know, what happens there? Sal ends up dying of a heart attack by the looks of it. And look, I know that's a kind of a cheap way for him to die, but it makes sense because he is older and he is exerting himself quite a lot and he has been under a lot of stress. So I could see how that would happen. And obviously, so Penguin wins. And then, you know, Oz is very much like, oh, I thought you were going to do it, Sal. I thought you were going to, like, you know, stop me and everything like that. But he's got it. So he calls Sophia and makes a deal with her. It's like, you give me my mother and I'll give you my drug operation. Because that's what she wants. She wants to be the king. This is where I love the shift in Sophia's character and the way that they did it. So Sophia calls Dr. Rush in, and she's like hyperventilating, everything like that, because she's like, look, man, Oz's mom has made me realize, like, I am doing exactly, I'm still playing my father's game. I'm doing everything that he would want me to do to take over successfully. This is the shift in her character where you just see something in her just go from, I want to be king to, no, I'm shifting. Oz is going to pay for everything he has done, and it's going to be brutal. And she sets up, she knows, obviously, she's going into a trap with Oz, so she's now one step ahead of him, where she sends in a car with a bomb this time. And we see everything, this mad explosion. Oz obviously gets out, goes down into where his brothers died. He goes down into there for cover. He then comes out, and this is where we see, obviously, one of Sophia's men come in, and boom, knocks him out. And that's the end of the episode. So we now have Sophia has the mother. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, man. That's going to be brutal. And then she has Oz as well. But we do know Victor is on a mission to try and get an army. So I think this finale has been set up brilliantly. This did exactly what a penultimate episode needed to do. It set everything in motion to where we now know we have Victor doing this. We have Sophia here. We have Oz on his way there. The only conclusion that can happen now is there's going to be a big war at the end here. Obviously, Victor's probably going to come in with reinforcements, and it's going to be in there. Will Oz's mum die in front of him? Will that be the final straw where she dies? And this is just a complete and utter switch for Oz in the character. And this really sends him down the dark, dark path. I'm very interested to see what happens now. This was another banger episode. This has just been such a great, fantastic series. Bring on the next one. So let me know what you guys thought of episode 7. Did you guys enjoy it? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.